I was gonna change my shirt because when you're baking, you should never ever wear a dark shirt because everyone will see the flour all over you, right? And so I was like, oh, I'll just find my apron. But then I was too lazy to go find my apron, so I was like, I know my mom has aprons in the drawer, and I took a look at it, and it's a black apron. So there's no reason for me to even change my shirt. I'm gonna start with the custard because the custard has to cool down first, and then we're gonna make the pastry. And then while the pastry's cooking, we're gonna make the chocolate glaze. So first things first. I have a few ingredients already, but it's not like spot on. For example, for the custard you need whole milk, but I don't have whole milk, and I'm not gonna buy half a gallon of whole milk for this one recipe, so we're gonna use whatever we have in the fridge, which is 1% low-fat milk, which I'm not really sure why my parents don't buy whole milk because we're all underweight and we can all use the extra milk, the extra fat in the milk. So it says 2 cups of milk. I'm gonna turn on my heat. I'm gonna do medium high. I'm a very awkward, boring person, I think. But I say a lot of shit and talk a lot of crazy stuff while I'm cooking and like doing stuff. So I'm really insecure now that you're watching me like cook. It's been so long since I've done one of these. So yeah, we're gonna bring that up to a boil, it says. It also says that you have to bring milk, and then it said a vanilla bean, which I'm poor and vanilla beans are expensive, and vanilla extract is also expensive. So I have this very teeny tiny amount of imitation vanilla extract because we're poor. And I'm just gonna put this in. I never measure when it comes to vanilla extract because I always put extra anyways. They say you're not supposed to put extra because it'll become really bitter, but I've always made it work. So there'll be this much for next time. I think this is enough. The next thing I need to do is I have 6 lovely eggs here. I have to separate I need the egg yolks, not the egg whites. So yeah, if you don't know, I'm very bad at separating my egg yolks and egg whites, so it'll be quite the experience to show. Oh, these eggs are different sizes. This egg is bigger than this egg. Fun fact, I didn't know there was a difference between large eggs and medium eggs up until I started working to where I work now. Because we sell medium eggs and large eggs, and we also sell medium cage-free eggs and large cage-free eggs. So if you're wondering why eggs prices are so expensive, it's because people are complaining that the housing for chickens is too small. So now we're paying extra to pay for chickens to have bigger houses and bigger chicken coops. Just in case if you were wondering. But I know a lot about food industry and what's going on and why inflation is happening. Why was it like that? The egg white is like yellow. Is that okay? Is that normal? Do eggs go bad? Will this be okay to eat? The egg white is not separating from the egg yolk. So, yeah, just a little voiceover. It took me a really long time to separate the egg white and the egg yolk here. It was just the egg yolk had been like already broken inside the egg white, so I was trying not to break it even more. Eventually I gave up and I ended up just using my hands and getting rid of the egg yolk here. See? Yeah. I have my egg yolks. I accidentally put the sugar in it because I forgot that I stopped recording. But I have 6 egg yolks and a little bit of egg whites because I'm bad at separating my egg yolks and egg whites. And then 2/3 cups of sugar. So now I'm going to whisk it all together. Yes, so I stopped recording because if you listen very closely, you can hear the footsteps of my mother walking into the kitchen, and my mom thinks everything I does is weird, And so me talking into the camera while cooking, she's definitely gonna think that's weird. So after this, I stopped talking in the video and I'm just gonna do voiceovers. But here I am, mixing my egg yolks and sugar. Yep, very nice. Look at it. Wow, it's a nice consistency. I just wanted to, I think I was pretty much done here, but I just wanted to make sure all the sugar and, you know, everything was mixed in. Yep. Yeah, and then here, I think I am tempering my egg yolks with the heated milk and vanilla mixture. I was very nervous because the recipe, it's, you know, you temper the egg yolks and then you pour the rest of the mixture. So here I am, I'm pouring the rest of the mixture into the bowl. I know you can't see it, it's off camera, but I'm pouring it all. And I was nervous because you're not supposed to really, you know, pour hot stuff into like glass because it might break. So I was really nervous. I was like shaking in my boots. Yeah, so here I am, mixing. Mix. Oh, I think my mom and I are having a conversation here. Listen. I know the washer changes, like when you do a full load and it's not a full load. I know the washer changes it to make it shorter.
So it's a smart dryer and a smart wash. So it weighs the clothes before it knows it fills the water. It weighs the clothes so it knows how much water to put in. And the dryer, it feels the clothes temperature and dries it accordingly, supposedly.
Yep, just small casual convo. So, yep, here's me pouring the rest of my mixture into the bowl. Mix. Here, I show the camera. I forgot to mix my milk while I was heating it up, so it burnt into the bottom of the freaking pot. And then while I was washing the pot, I remembered I forgot to add cornstarch. I was supposed to mix the egg yolks and the sugar and then sift in cornstarch, and then I totally forgot, so I was panicking, and then I was like, what if I add the cornstarch to my milk and egg mixture now? So here I am, sifting in cornstarch. I got cornstarch over the floor there, but I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter, I need to, you know, mix this shit in. So yeah, sifting, sift, mix, sift, mix. Oh, I don't mix again. Oh, mix. Yep. So here it is. I showed the camera the mixture because it got a little bit thicker. You can't really tell, but it got thicker, and it was kind of cool, I guess. Yeah, so I strained it back into the pot, and I was gonna cook it over heat. I cooked it over medium-low heat. And I was nervous because I didn't think it was gonna thick it up, and then it did. It thickened up, became custard. It was very clumpy. So I mixed it more. Then I transferred it to a little bowl, and I tasted it. Here, look, it looks like I'm eating earwax, but it was so good. I was so excited. Yeah. So now we're making the pastry dough. So first we're adding in 1 cup of butter. I learned today that 113 grams of butter is equivalent to 1 cup, which is a lot of butter. And then after that, we add in 1 cup of water. There it is. I think it was a teaspoon of salt and then 2 teaspoons of sugar, which I forgot to record. Mixing it all up. Then after all that's melted in and incorporated, I sift in 1 cup of flour. And then here I am mixing it again. I recorded a different angle. Here, me mixing it all up over the heat, cooking it, and then that's it. The next step was to, in the video, the guy put the dough into KitchenAid, and then on medium speed mix it, and then adding in 1 egg at a time. But I was too lazy to get the KitchenAid out. I have a KitchenAid, it's just, it sits out in the open and it collects dust, and then I always feel nasty using it, you know. I mean, I rinse off my KitchenAid, but it's just, you know, I just didn't want to clean it. So here I am. I was mixing it by hand, and I even tried simulating KitchenAid. Like, look here. Yeah, look, I'm turning the bowl and everything, but my egg just would not mix, and then everything started coming apart. Like the butter was unseparating from the dough, so I threw it all in the KitchenAid. And yeah, and then look. Wow, look at it. That is so. I I can't believe, like I can't explain to you how happy I was when I saw it come out like that. It was just, I'm a bad baker. Like when I bake cookies, I always end up over baking my cookies. Like I'm not a good baker. Once in high school, I made macarons, and if you know anything about making macarons, it's kind of a long process. And I overbaked them, so they became cracked, and then they didn't rise, and then they stuck to the parchment paper, so they would all, I couldn't salvage a single one. So then I had to throw away the whole batch, and then I cried, and then it ruined my self-esteem, and then I haven't baked again, really, like on my own. And that was like 4 years ago, so, but here I am baking again, and dude, they come, look, I was just thinking this whole time, like, wow, I'm so good, like, I wasn't even done baking, like, damn, these are beautiful. But yeah, there I am, piping them up. Oh, look how cute they are. So I was recording and I was showing how funky that one looked, and then I was like, oh, let's look at all of them. Like, wow, wow. Some of them are a little questionable, but they were good. Oh yeah, and then when I was looking for a brush, I found these little piping tips that could have helped. But yeah, I covered them in egg wash, and then I started making a little whipped cream for my custard. I wanted to have the whipped cream being whipped and running while I was making my chocolate glaze, so I put in 1 cup of heavy whipping cream into the KitchenAid. It's off camera because I'm so good at recording, but there it is. So there's already 1 cup of cream in there, and then I'm throwing in 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then the rest of my vanilla extract right there. All into the KitchenAid, whipping it up on high speed. And then while that's running, I am heating up another cup of heavy whipping cream on the stove, and then there is a cup of chocolate, semi-sweet chocolate chips. When it's all heated up, I mix it all together, and look, wow, that looked beautiful. I tried showing it like it being like thick and silky, but it was very liquidy. Oh, and then here's my cream. I taste tested it, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm good at making whipped cream, man. It wasn't too sweet. It wasn't too, creamy. Like, like how heavy cream has that weird taste. I don't know. But I pulled my custard out of the fridge, and look, it turned solid, bro. I was so mad because I was like, my whole process has been so good. So I threw that shit into the KitchenAid with my whipped cream because I was gonna put it all together anyways. And then I added a little extra cream. After that, I threw my eclairs in the oven, baked it. Then I did the thing. I filled up my eclairs. I dipped them in chocolate, and here it is. It's all good. So I finished editing the video, and I'm gonna do a little reflecting on my baking experience, only because I did go a little fast towards the end, and then there was just, there wasn't any time for me to add in the last few things that I wanted to say. But I think that this is one of the most complex recipes I've followed in the past few years, with one of the best outcomes for me. I'm not a very good baker, but these came out pretty good, and so I'm really proud of myself. I'm really happy with how they came out. I think that if you are getting into baking, like you don't bake and you're a beginner, I wouldn't make this. If you bake here and there, I would make it with a friend, because I don't bake very often. I made it by myself, but it took me like 4 to 5-ish hours to do everything by myself and to clean everything by myself and everything. So I would definitely say that this is a recipe to make with a friend if you don't bake often. But the eclairs themselves are pretty good. I think that the sweetness of the custard and the bitterness of the chocolate glaze, they complement each other perfectly. However, if you get a little bit too much custard, it's not good. The custard's a little too sweet for my liking, but it's overall pretty good. I think the hardest part was filling the eclairs. Filling them was difficult because I don't have pastry bags, so I would put a little chopstick in one end and then hollow it out, and then I would stick the bag in and then like pour the custard down the hole and hope for the best. And I could tell when some of the eclairs would be filled because you can see it expanding and then they would get really heavy. But I'm pretty sure most of my eclairs, like half of them are filled and half of them are not filled. But they're gonna be eaten anyways, so. But yeah, I think the hardest part was filling them, and I think that filling them probably ruined the whole experience for me because I had fun baking them right up until I was filling them. But I rate everything maybe a nice 7 out of 10. I don't think I would ever bake these again unless I was baking them with someone else or if I had a really good reason to. But I would recommend other people to bake it just because they're good, you know. I had fun. It was kind of easy to make for what they are, so yeah. Thanks for watching.